So,
Finish talking about your one-off.
Casey.
Casey.
Casey's one-off adventure that would eventually lead into his campaign. So, here I am. He says, alright, this is a PvP one-off where it's just you versus another player. Or eventually player. I think it was like everybody would fight a NPC that he would make first, and then afterwards they would fight a player.
Yeah.
Of course, that was like the bare minimum to it. There's no depth behind it. Like, you couldn't pay to win. You couldn't. There was no skill checks or anything like that. It was just straight melee death combat, gladiatorial combat. And so, I was tasked to make a character that would be good for melee or gladiatorial combat to kill people. So I thought, oh, this is a great time to try out a fighter. It's a great time to try out a fighter. So this is my first time making my own character. I didn't know where to get any of the resources. I didn't have a player's handbook. I didn't know what was a legitimate source or not to use.
Yeah.
So I found, like, I think it was on the SRD, the 5e SRD, and I started making the fighter character, level 14, I think. Level 14 fighter. And it came down, he said, or you get to have like one very rare magic item and then 2 rare magic items. Or unrare, or whatever. And I didn't know where to find magic items, you know? I had no clue. I didn't know what, like, how like +1 weapons worked or anything like that. So it came to a point when I had to choose what weapons I had, and I'm like, what are the weapons in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons? Like, I didn't know. All right, I completely did not know. It was a complete mystery to me. So I searched up online, like, 5th edition 5e weapons, and it was not the right source. That's for sure. It was not the right source. So I wrote down, like, broadsword or something like that. I didn't know how much damage it did, or what it was, or like.
Just pick a dice. Pick the one with the most numbers.
I don't know. I think it was like a d6. I remember I chose 2-weapon fighting as my fighting style.
Yeah.
And I remember it came when I had to choose, like, my magic items. Oh man, I didn't know what I found like a any flip version of the Dungeon Master's Guide, which had the magic items on it, right? So I was looking through there, and I saw a very rare magic item. It was like a Obsidian Steed, I think is what it was called, right? Like, oh, that's a very rare magic item. I remember what I was looking through, it didn't have all the pages of all the magic items for me to look through, so I only saw like a section of it, and it had all the all the animals, all like the stone animals, like Obsidian Steed. Oh, that's a cool idea. I'll take that. Sure. Like, alright, I have this Obsidian Steed. That's great. And then the other 2 magic items, I didn't know what to do. I think it was like 1 rare magic item that you can choose. So I remember I took like a +2. In the DMG, it says like +2. It says ammunition +1, +2, +3. I didn't know what that meant.
Oh.
I didn't know, so I wrote down ammunition in my inventory. I'm like, it should add 1 to my damage and thing. I'm not sure how this works though. Is it like it's like a fire round that I throw on my weapon and it makes it deal more damage or attack for 1 turn or something like that? I'm not sure. I'll just probably never use it. So my character is a half-orc. It was a half-orc. I didn't know what any of the half-orcs' like abilities did. I remember I wanted to make this guy evil. So it comes to the session, and it's shown with my mismatched, not legit character, and I'm like, hey, what's up guys, this is my first time making a character, and then was reviewing it, and it was like, why'd you write down broadsword? And I'm like, I don't know what the weapons are. I don't know. So he fixed up my character. Of course, I didn't know what any of the fighters' abilities did. You know, I didn't know what action surge was. I didn't know what second wind was. I wasn't really sure at the time how like the action, like what to do on your turn. You know, I knew that you could attack something. I didn't really know what to do with a bonus action. I don't think I even knew what a bonus action was at the time.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like, did no one tell you?
They probably did. It's just
You're
that
like,
I was pretty dumb.
Did you not see anyone else?
Oh, they definitely probably been using bonus actions. I might have thought that was like, oh, you get to do this bonus action after you perform a certain stunt. That's why they say bonus action to do this or bonus action to do that.
Oh.
I'm waiting for my chance to get the bonus action. I think that's what it was. I'm not sure though.
I mean, that makes sense, like, in a weird way.
In a weird way, it makes sense. So, it comes time, and Casey's like, hey, what magic items did you choose? And like, I chose a +2 ammunition. And he's like, what? Okay, sure. And then like, also I chose the obsidian steed. It's like, oh, it's a cool idea. I'm like, oh, it is? Great.
Cool, I'm glad I did it.
Glad I did it. And I think Casey thought to do it in a different way. Thought that would play the character a lot differently. I told him it was like an evil character, right? He's like, you should act more evil. You play characters too good, like, you know. This guy was too good to be evil until the very end. I'll tell you about that. But so, Casey thought it would be like a super secret thing. Like I'd keep it in my cloak, and be like a glowing aura that people who could sense magic stuff would be like, oh, there's some magical energy down there. It's evil. It's dark. I don't know what it is. And it's like a secret. But no, I'm like, no. This guy's like crazy evil, right? He's like obsessing around the obsidian steed. He's like, oh, my obsidian steed. So I'm imagine like a freaking freaking Hunchback of Notre Dame looking guy hunched over the freaking obsidian steed, like, mine. I didn't know what to do with it either. I'm like, oh, this is a cool thing. I didn't know how to use it. I didn't know how to ride an animal either in D&D. So I'm like, when I come to fight something, I get on, I throw out the animal. I'm like, alright, what do I do with it now? And I remember I just didn't use it after that. I just had it in my inventory, just taking up space. And then I had these 2 short swords. Oh no, I don't think it was even, I think I had a long sword even though I was a 2-weapon fighter, right? You know what the 2-weapon fighting style does, right? It lets you add damage to the second with the bonus attack, extra slash, which is so good. It's such a good, it's an underrated fighting style, I'd say.
Really? You think it's underrated?
I say it's underrated. You know, people choose other fighting styles over it more often.
Huh.
Well, I'd say it's underrated because most people don't want to make a 2-weapon fighter most of the time when they're making a build, right? But anyway. So I had a long sword, a 2-handed long sword, swiping at this guy even though it's a 2-weapon fighter. And I think Casey made the first encounter that I fought super easy because my guy was really bad. Oh, you know what? You know what my subclass was for fighter? I chose champion.
Oh.
I chose champion as my subclass for fighter, and I didn't know what I remember. I just sort of wrote down the abilities and didn't know what they did. So like I got indomitable, and I got like the crit hit chance, like increased. I don't think I even noticed when I would crit unless I rolled an actual 20. So I might have lost out on a bunch of critical hits the whole time.
Yeah. Yep, that'll happen.
When you just don't really care. Later on, your critical hit chance goes up to 17. Or 18, I mean. 18, not 17. Eventually. It does. But, so I get through the... I fight the first dude. I think Casey put pity on me. And just, I think he thought I would design a ranged fighter, you know? Like someone uses a bow. But I'm like, no, I want to try out different character styles. Because at that time, I've only been playing like I'd played the warlock, you know, the super ranged warlock and the ranged rogue guy, you know, all the ranged stuff. I'm like, no, I want to try a melee dude now. So here I am, just waiting for my choice of being a champion payoff with my superior critical of 18 to 20. Oh, did I know they give you an additional fighting style as a champion? Still not good unless you're a crit build, but anyway. So I get through the first encounter somewhat easy. I don't think it was actually that easy. I just sort of swiped at the dude until he died.
Yeah.
I think Casey let me beat him. Let me beat the NPC. But then my next fight was I had to fight Keen's like Thunder Cleric build, I think. Lightning build. And I remember, yeah, he died. But when I would fight, I was fighting him, and I remember, Kieran would like narrate what his character was doing, and then say, "Make a Constitution save." I'm like, but I was thinking in my mind, I don't know what spell he's doing. I don't know what it is, so I don't know how much to like judge how much damage he's gonna deal to me. So I should whether or not I should use my like Indomitable save or not, you know? Because I read on that during my break in between fights, you know, like what my abilities actually did. Like, oh, Indomitable. You can reroll a saving throw that you fail. Nice. That's 9th level ability, by the way, for fighters. So I remember I took like a super big, massive hit from him. Like, all right, next one, I'm gonna use my Indomitable on the next fight, on the next big blow he does. So it's like, so after you hit me, like sparks fly off, make me a Constitution save, or make a Constitution save. Like, oh, I'll use the Indomitable, and then it's like 2d6 thunder damage or something like that. I'm like, God. And then my character's lying there on the ground, burnt and zapped, and then I'm like, all right, I gotta show off to Casey that, hey, this character is actually evil. So his character's like, any last words? And I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna spit right in his face. And he's like, oh, this is it. And boom, he's dead. And then after I'm done, I hand my character sheet off to Casey to file away or something like that. And then he's looking at my character sheet. He's like, "You're a 2-weapon fighter. You were a 2-weapon fighter. Why are you using a longsword? Wait, why'd you write down ammunition?"
You didn't even have it right.
I didn't even use it.